Hello, and welcome to Stories with Dice, an actual play podcast of some of our favorite tabletop role-playing games.
Hi, welcome back to Stories with Dice, an actual play podcast of Tales from the Loop. I'm Ed, and joined with me, as always, is Marco.
Hello.
And my lovely players, or our lovely players, say hi.
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 Hello.
Hello.
Wonderful friends of ours.
We've progressed to friends. I still had you down as acquaintance.
You son of a...
Where's the quit button? Hang on. No, don't do that. Welcome, everybody, to episode 4 of Tales from the Loop. If you've joined us, great. Hopefully you've listened to our previous ones. If you could do us a favor and give us a thumbs up, a like, subscribe, a follow, and everything else that you require for social media to say we're amazing and great, please join our Discord, which is called Stories with Dice. If you so wish, we also would like you to join our Patreon. We have a free option, but if you'd like to give us some money, well, who are us to complain? Anyway, let's just get on with the game. I'm going to pick on one of my players this time, just to give us a little short roundup as to what happened last session and where we left off. In fact, I'm going to roll a dice. I don't do this very often, which is great.
Well, that's terrifying.
And it's going to be Sol.
Of course it is.
Of course.
Last time on
Sure.
Stories with Dice,
Serves you, bastard.
Marco's character, the young Anthony, tried to get me to roll up a D&D character, but I was saved by the arrival of the other characters. The session before, we made a little discovery as to an address on one of the mechanical arms from the back room of the toy shop. So I went to go get my bike. Everyone else had their bikes there, but I had to go get my bike, and we headed over to the other side of town where the factory was, where I put together a cunning plan that totally wasn't an absolutely useless, underthought plan at all. I was very focused on it. So focused, I didn't notice when Anthony was complaining about something moving within his bag. The other lot opened it to find 2 of the toys that we'd collected from the toy shop the previous session. One was a Decepticon or something, and the other one was one of the other ones. And they came to life, and we tussled with them, caught them, and then let them go, and they ran off. Except Susie, my character, still doesn't believe that actually any of that really happened, and that they're just sort of mechanical. And Anthony didn't like that I didn't believe him, and I feel bad for him. So bad for him that I feel like I'm going to feel even more for him this session because of where we left it last session. Where did we leave it last session? Well, we put the plan in action. I rushed up ahead. I set off It's a Kind of Magic by Queen on my cassette player, while the others snuck up the other side of the compound. And then Anthony made a dash for the guard hut, only to be caught. And that is where we left it.
Amazing sum up. Thank you very much, Sol. Indeed, that is where we left it. As the security guard,
Anthony!
got Anthony by the scruff of his collar. Oi! What are you doing? And he looks at you, the guard with his sort of greying hair, greying tash.
I think Susie feels very much to blame, and so rushes forward just as the tape recorder clicks off of It's a Kind of Magic, just to the white noise of the tape going round.
You can see that the security guard has got Anthony by the scruff of the neck and has almost picked him off his feet. He's just on his tiptoes and he's looking at you. He's got really close to you. You can smell that he's got pizza breath, and he's kind of like looking at you and he's going, "What are you doing here, boy? What are you doing here?"
Hey, you! Leave him alone!
Your breath is so terrible. That's like, oh, God, what have you been eating? Cat food? Oh.
He looks at you sort of like, you can see he's got like big rings under his eyes. It looks like he's not slept for days. He kind of just looks at you and then turns to you, Susie, as you come running up. And he puts his hand out to ward you off. Stay where you are, young lady.
Yeah, I think she'll stop, but she's going to have a quick look around to see if she can see any of those moving toys from before, like within the compound, within line of sight.
Okay. Could you make an investigate roll?
Sure. I'm not great at it, but we'll give it a go. I think I will push this because I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared.
You're a little scared.
God, the dice are not with us today.
You're absolutely scared. You're like so nervous about the security guard that you don't notice anything else. You know, it's a big open asphalt area.
I feel like the adrenaline kicked in and then has very much kicked out when she's realized she's got Anthony into a lot of trouble.
He's a big guy. He's definitely overweight. He spent a lot of his time sitting in a chair, eating pizza, pretzels, you name it, and Doritos. What is Sven and Anders doing from the relative safety of your ditch?
I'm staying totally hidden, although it's all gone south. I don't want to get the blame for this, so I'm just going to let it play out and make sure I'm not involved.
Very carefully try to sneak on the way to the back of the guard. This kind of, I guess, like a tiny spot where I can squeeze so he doesn't see me and see what's going to happen. We'll see if I rush into action.
Okay.
Or just use this to get in.
Sure. But if you could please make a stealth roll for me, that would be great. So you got a couple of successes. Through all the kind of hurrah and stuff that the security guard's doing, he is clearly 100% focusing on Anthony and Susie. And you manage to sort of like rush right up behind the guardhouse and basically plonk yourself down. So you can hear this. It's almost like right at your feet, you know, right in front of you. So the security guard has got Anthony by the scruff and says, "Right, what's your mom's telephone number? I'm going to give her a call now. Come on, what's it?"
I don't have to tell you anything.
Yeah, that's right. Don't tell her. Don't tell him, Anthony.
He starts rummaging around in your pocket and your rucksack and your backpack.
I kick him in the shins.
You kick him in the shins. You realize that it doesn't seem to do a lot, and he kind of lifts you even more. You just feel completely and utterly unable to do anything. You can see he kind of looks at you with a very stern gaze. Says, "Come on then." He turns to Susie and says, "Well, come on then." And he basically pushes you to the little guardhouse. Says, "Let's call your mum and yours," he says to Susie as he looks around. "Unless you'd like to leave."
I can take him home. He just wanted to get the toy that he said that had headed this way. That's the problem.
He looks at Susie and looks at Anthony and says, "What?"
Go on, tell him, Anthony.
We know what you're hiding in that factory, and maybe we should call the cops. Maybe we should call the cops on you.
Yeah, let's call the police. That seems like a good plan. I'll do that.
Not do that.
He basically
Anthony, come on.
Frogs mocks you into the little shack, and he basically pushes you onto a chair, and he stands between you and the door. And he picks up the phone, and he goes, "You got a choice, kid. I can either call your folks, or I can call the police. What would you prefer?"
Can I pull the phone line out of the wall?
Sure, you could do that. You just grab the phone line and yank it out of the wall. You see that his kind of like vaguely amused expression from the whole thing changes, and he's definitely got that very serious adult face. And you're just like, "Oh, there's that line you've just crossed. Right. I'm going to ask you one more time. What is the telephone number of your parents?"
You know, my dad is a very important person at the Loop.
Okay.
He can have your job.
Brilliant, he says. "I'll take that telephone number of your dad then."
How are you going to call him?
He looks at you very bemused for a second.
I mean, I'm happy to give it to you, but like, how are you going to call him? Your phone is broken.
Do you like music, Mr. Security Guard?
He turns around and he looks at you, Susie, and says, "What's your name?"
I said you like music, Mr. Security Guard.
"What's your name?"
Well, I'm Susie.
Okay. And this is Anthony. Do you know Anthony's last name?
No, we've only just met.
What's your last name?
Queen.
You see that he kind of like smiles and says, "Right. Well, Susie Queen, I suggest that you take your little friend here."
And take him home, yeah.
He basically pulls Anthony's rucksack and pulls it off, and he pushes you around, takes everything out of your rucksack, or out of your backpack. Do you have anything identifiable in your backpack, Anthony, to tell you who you are?
Unfortunately, yes. So the D&D Player's Handbook, he has his name written on the inside.
That's brilliant.
His full name, Anthony Russo.
He basically takes a note of it and says, right, little American child, I will find out where you live and I will come and visit your parents. He puts the bag back in your backpack.
Where did he write that down?
He wrote it down in his little notebook that he's got, which he then puts into his trousers. He then basically throws you out of the door and says, don't you come back. Go on, get lost.
I flip him the bird.
I like catch that finger, put it down, like, and kind of wave goodbye and sort of huddle Anthony away.
Sven, you can hear him mumbling to himself. Oh, for the love of just how am I you can hear like some creaking noises coming from inside the shack. He's clearly obviously trying to figure out how to put the phone line back together. He comes out of the shack. He shuts the door to the shack and then he goes over to the little fence gate, unlocks the fence gate, walks in, shuts the fence gate, and then wanders over to one of the buildings.
I'm watching him walk across to the building.
You can see he takes a long time to get to the building, but he's taking with him like a little pail and a little coffee flask.
I will try to sink in and go to the small segment.
Okay, you want to try the chain link gate?
Yeah, it's open. No, it's unlocked.
Yeah, he's unlocked it and he just shut it. So you got to open it. Yep, you can go in.
Anders, come on.
I take a look at the building to make sure the old boy's got in there.
He's still walking. It's a bit of a way for him to walk. He's not in the best of health.
So I'll be creeping towards the gate until he disappears in the building, and then I'm just going to sprint for my life to get to the gate.
Susie and Anthony, you're just going to basically walk towards your bikes at the end of the road, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but also looking around to see where Sven and Anders are, and if we see them,
you do.
Then
it's not difficult to hide.
Then I will tug on Susie's arm. Look! They're making a break for it.
Don't give the game away. We're still in it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're gonna get to our bikes.
Okay, so then I follow Susie to where we left our bikes.
How quick can you ride, Anthony? How quick can you ride?
I can ride like Shadowfax from the Lord of the Rings.
Are they quick?
That's cool. Back to Sven and Anders. Okay, so you kind of like open the gate, you get in. It's a very empty, open asphalt thing. You can just make out the guard as he's getting to the main 2-story building. And he kind of goes into one of the front entrance, which is on the right-hand side of the building. And he wanders off in, leaving you alone, essentially, to this entire area.
I rush to the small building.
Okay, you guys rush to the small building.
If there is a small window or something, I will try to look inside.
There are some windows, but they're sort of like about 6-7 foot up. You need someone to give you a lift up to kind of look inside.
Are there windows on the south side of the building?
There are.
All right, I'll indicate for Sven to come along, and I'll do the leaning back against the wall and clasp my hands together to show that I'll give him a lift up.
You get a lift up, and you kind of get up to the window. Inside, you can see it's a warehouse. The warehouse is quite large. It is essentially a very large, one big room. There are loads of shelves and stuff on the floor, and stacked on the shelves are loads of packs of boxes, which looks very eerily similar to the packs of boxes that you saw in the toy shop. You can then see, just out of the corner of your eye, a group of robots, probably about 15 of them, walking from the main 2-story building. Some of them are sort of like the big 15-inch ones. Some of them are sort of like 5 inches. Some of them are sort of like 10 inches, depending on the size of the robot. And they appear to be making their way towards your direction. As you look a little bit closer, you can see that they appear to be holding what look like scalpels and packing knives, and they are starting to pick up pace.
This look normal to you?
No, and they're armed.
What the fuck? Go to the other side of the building if we can.
What, you want to go to the left-hand side of the building?
Yeah, try to see if there's a door behind or something.
They start to move at some speed. As you kind of leave, as you turn around to kind of like run away, you can see a couple of them are turning into some of the vehicles, and they start to drive quicker along the asphalt.
Run!
If you guys can make a move roll, that would be great. And so you can see they're rushing towards you. Anders and Sven, you managed to get around the side. Where are you going to go from here? There's nothing on the far side except more windows. There's a fire exit, but there's no door handle or anything to get into the fire exit.
Well, they're between us and the exit at the moment, so
this is true.
So I think we'll just keep running, looking for either a doorway to get in, or somewhere to climb up, or just somewhere to get away from them.
As you kind of like looking around, you can hear a buzzing noise, and in front of you, you can see a helicopter gunship, in fact, heading in your direction from the north.
I grab a stone and I throw it to the helicopter.
Yeah, you just pick up a stone and you throw it. Okay, if you want to make a force roll for me, that'd be great. Nice. You pick up the stone and you throw it. It hits the helicopter smack bang, and the helicopter breaks up into a couple of parts and crashes to the floor, leaving you space to run.
Yeah, and I like high five.
Hey, you high five. So as you do that, you've got a choice. You can either run north or go around the building, so the other robots will be chasing you, and head back through the gate. Or did you want to try and hide somewhere in the compound?
I will be curious about what's going on, and perhaps I will propose to go to the big building. Like to go in. I mean, one of these adults must know what's going on. I mean, this is very weird.
As you kind of like look and kind of start to point over, you can see one of the machines. It looks like one of the actually kind of lieutenants from the deceivers. It's the black snowmobile. The robot basically shouts with like a bit of an antenna sort of like sound, and it says, "Stop where you are."
I just look at Sven with raised eyebrows, turn the other way, and I just sprint off in the other direction.
Okay.
I follow Anders.
So basically they're chasing you. You're sort of like running around the facility. It's at that point you see the security guard come out. And in fact, you run around as you've gone around the side and up through the top part of the facility, and you've come running back round, hoping to kind of like cut off. And that's when you run almost into the security guard. And the security guard puts his hands up and goes, "Whoa, whoa, 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 what are you doing?"
I just point at the little robots and go, "They're chasing us."
He says, "You shouldn't be here. Get out."
"What about them?"
He says, "I would leave. Go follow your friends." He basically points towards the gate.
Hey, mister, nobody tells me what to do. I mean, what's going on here? This is very weird.
As you say that, you see that he pulls out like a bushcraft knife from his belt, and he stops, and he just goes really deadpan, and he says, "Leave, or you won't ever leave."
Yeah, I haven't even stopped to see this.
You're just running.
I've just carried to run for the exit.
I'm looking at him. Does it look to me like he could be a robot? Or is just...
Could be, who knows? I mean, you'd probably have to spend a bit more time examining him. But if you do that, chances are you'll be caught. And he's now like a fully fledged adult holding a knife.
Yeah, no, I'm like, for one moment, I'm like looking at the guy.
Tell you what, why don't you make an investigate roll for me? One success. Okay. So what you can see is that just on the side of his head, one part of his hair is shaved, and you can see a bruise and a couple of stitches just behind his left ear.
At the moment, I just run away.
And then you guys run as you run towards the entrance. Back to Susie and Anthony.
So are we at our bicycles?
You're on your bicycles.
What do we do now, Susie?
I'm going to pedal as fast as possible up to that front gate, and then like start doing circles, ringing that bell as much as we can. Teach that guy a lesson.
What is that going to do?
Trust me.
Okay.
And at that point, she like race you, and then start pedaling.
You start pedaling. You both pedal with all your work.
Well, no, she pedals slowly to allow Anthony to catch up.
I see. Okay. All right. Well, you pedal up the road as you see both Sven and Anders running away from the security guard as they're
where are they running from?
So they're running from what looks like the second large building, away from the security guard, towards the entrance to get out of the facility.
Anthony, change of plan. We get to the end, we spin around and let them hop on the back. She just rings the bell and then presses play, and it plays It's a Kind of Magic again after having rewinded it on the way back.
Okay.
Don't you have like the police on that tape recorder?
It's in my bag. Next time.
Sven and Anders, you've got Susie and Anthony are basically waiting for you on their bikes. You can quite easily get through the chain link gate. And as you do that, it's the sun is sort of like starting to settle, and it's starting to get just that little bit dark, just the early part of the late afternoon. And you cycle like crazy and run like crazy back to your bikes at the end of the road. And you realize you're probably going to have to be home in the next sort of half hour or so.
Yeah, like we'll obviously drop Sven off at his bike. Come on, we gotta go.
Yeah, so you manage to kind of get away from the factory and you drop Sven back at his bike. You then go on your bikes. What's the plan? Are you going to go home, or are you going to just stop and have a debrief quickly and have a quick catch up?
I think it's once you got far enough away, slow down, catch our breath.
Woo! What happened in there, Sven?
That was crazy.
Did you see it?
He chased you out, but what did you guys see in there?
The robots, they'd all come to life. They were chasing us. They had knives.
Whoa.
And whatever's going on, the security guard's in on it.
Yeah, and started smoking. Do you guys want one?
Sven, please don't offer that to Anthony.
That's with the nerves. It calms you down.
Anthony, don't accept it. It's not cool.
I already tried it once and I didn't like it.
Right. Well, I think that's enough fun for me tonight. Ouch. It's also nearly dinner time.
Shouldn't we be telling someone about what's happening there?
I don't believe us.
Like who?
I don't know. The people from the toy shop? The police? Somebody?
Maybe we'll think about it and discuss this tomorrow? Fresh eyes?
But what if they're up to something really bad? Tomorrow might be too late.
The trick is people who do bad things, they also have to sleep.
But robots don't have to sleep.
It'll be all right, won't it, Anders? Yeah?
I look wide-eyed and shrug. Maybe you should barricade your doors tonight, just in case. Make sure you haven't got anything open that something robot-sized can sneak in.
Cannot leave Anthony go alone now that I'm thinking about. They know him.
But we gotta tell Johannes. He has one of those toys.
Oh, yeah.
He's in trouble. He's in danger.
Well, maybe Anders and Sven could go and check on Johannes. Anthony, it's getting really late.
I go to Anthony and I grab him by the shoulders and I look, man, you really need to close down your door, put a chair against the door of your house, and really lock the window. Take off your name. The robots can come for you.
Sven, don't scare him.
Maybe I should sleep at the hideout tonight.
In that case, I'm going to stay with you.
We'll have a sleepover. We can play D&D all night.
Are you sure, Sven? Are you sure your parents are going to be okay with that? Make sure Auntie's parents know.
Right. Well, you cycle home. So you're going to go home and get your stuff and then go to the hideout, I'm guessing. Like with a sleeping bag and a blanket and the sorts of things you would expect you'd need, like, I don't know, a flashlight and some biscuits.
So Susie's not. Again, Susie really does not believe that any of that has just actually happened and that it's still just a game. And she thinks that the two boys are scaring Anthony, and she wasn't very happy with that. And she sort of talks like this to her mum over the counter, and that she's really worried for him. We just wanted to have a look, and the security guard was really grumpy, and and he was just mean to Anthony. It was so unnecessary. He just lost a toy over the fence. Like,
okay. I see how it is. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Mum listens, and she sort of makes sure you're okay. And if you have any conditions, your mum is your anchor, so you can get rid of your conditions.
Cool. I'm not scared anymore.
No.
Mum is sort of, justifying my thoughts and all of that and backing me up.
She mostly is very happy that you're making friends, so she's sort of like very kind of supportive of that. Then we'll jump to Sven. I take it you're not really going to say much to your dad. In fact, Sven, you go home, your dad's not there.
Yeah, exactly.
So you get your stuff.
Yeah, I'll get whatever, and perhaps I would eat up one of these PB dinner, frozen stuff. I will eat up one or two and I'll put them in my backpack.
Yeah, there's no one there to stop you from doing it. Dad's not there, and it doesn't look like he's been at home at all. Then we'll jump to Anders.
Yeah, I'll explain to my father that we're probably going to have a night out at the camp, playing games and stuff like that. Because I'm not working tomorrow, so we'll be all right. So I'll get my sleeping bag and a blanket and make myself up a sandwich and a flask of drink, like I would do if I was going out to work for the day.
Your mum will help you with that. What is it you do to earn money? I mean, I know you're 14, so presumably you help out at a shop or a store, or I suppose you're in the farm, don't you? You help
doing farm work and contracting and stuff like that. Yeah,
that's fine. They're not at each other's throats tonight, and they both are quite happy to help you out with making some food and stuff. And in fact, having you out of the house will probably be helpful for them. They can have a chat and not worry about you getting upset with them and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fine. Off you trot, leaving. Anthony, how are you going to do this with your parents?
So Anthony is upset and he's also scared, right? Those are his two conditions.
Correct.
And Sven made him even more scared by telling him to put a chair up against the door and all that stuff. So he doesn't even go home. He goes right to the hideout.
Okay.
And he hides in the hideout.
Okay.
Somewhere, I imagine there's some place that maybe he's behind a stack of shelves or something, or under a desk. Maybe he covers the desk with like a blanket and he's underneath it. Because, no one would check under there.
No. You've got like a top and you kind of like make the best fort that you could possibly make to kind of like keep out anything. That's cool. So you go and do that. I like that.
And he's just like, reading his player's handbook to occupy himself and try to be less scared.
Yeah, you read the player's handbook and you're sort of like, you move on to sort of like some of the other books and stuff. And then you start to sort of like freak yourself out a little bit because you can hear noises wandering around in the hideout, and you end up in this sort of like state of still being scared by the time Anders and Sven turn up.
Who's out there?
No, it's just us, Anthony.
Oh, phew. I thought you were those assassin robots.
Yeah, I'm not sure they know where our camp is at the moment, but...
Did they follow you?
I don't think so. But I was thinking maybe we can spend some time setting up some traps or tripwires, just in case.
Yeah, I made this cool fort.
Hey, that is cool. I think there's some candles over in the desk drawer over there. We can use them, save the batteries on the torches.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Okay. So you will kind of like camp out. And it's kind of fun. Once you sort of like the initial sort of worry happens, actually camping out, although you both realize that Anthony has nothing to camp out with. So you happy to like share some of your food and like a blanket with him and stuff like that.
And I will take out my TV dinner right there on the table and I will open it and look, this is amazing. I eat this every day.
Yeah, actually, once you kind of like get together and you kind of have a bit of a conversation stuff, and the other two are here, things don't seem as bad, and you can heal a condition of your choice.
Oh, cool.
Can I do the same too?
If any of you three have got any kind of conditions, you can lose one of them because you're all sort of like in the hideout. You're all chatting to each other. You're bolstering each other, sort of like, and everything's fine. You've got like a supply of like Band-Aids and some other bits that you use for your inverted commas first aid kit if you were hurt. Yeah, so that's fine. You kind of like chill out and rest for the rest of the evening.
So I removed the upset condition, but I left the scared because I feel like even though he's feeling a little more relaxed, he's eating some of the mashed potatoes or whatever in the TV dinner, and he's kind of feeling like oh, this is cool. We're like, I'm hanging out with the older kids and we're having a sleepover kind of a thing. He's still in the back of his mind. He's worried.
Cool. So, Marco, does your mum and dad know about the other kids?
No.
No. Okay. The evening goes by uneventfully. No one seems to come get you, and you kind of wake up in the morning to another cold day. The one thing it was a little bit chilly out in the hideout at night. But other than that, it was relatively fine. You wake up. What's the plan? First thing in the morning.
I'll take the extra large wrench that I found and kept beside me when I was sleeping, just in case.
Yeah.
I'll go and put that back in its place and get my flask out and drink what was left of inside it.
Okay.
I was going to say, and then go and find the old smashed up lavatory in in the factory.
Sure.
I'm going to take a peek outside and just kind of like,
there's this fog that's kind of like come in. So because you're on the Malaran Islands, every morning and evening, there's like a fog that kind of comes in, especially when the temperature's changing and stuff like that. And it kind of comes off of the actual lake and it kind of covers the islands in this very low kind of fog. And that's exactly what it's done this morning. It's really early, really early. You look at sort of like, I take it you've got something like a Casio digital watch or something.
Yeah.
And it's like 6 a.m. in the morning. It's really early. It's really quiet as well.
Sven, take a look at this fog. It's like that Stephen King novel. Do you think the robots are in there? Do you think they're doing the fog? Like they're making it?
No, that's just normal.
Don't worry about it. I mean, it's been the night. See, nothing happened. We protected you, right?
Yeah.
I was wondering, Anthony, perhaps you want to go home and get a shower?
Why do I smell?
I don't know. Did you get showered?
Yesterday I did.
I can go and get some breakfast if you guys want. I know a bakery. I can go quickly with a bike.
Can we go to the diner? Do you think that's safe?
You're with us. And it's public. There will be people around.
The diner opens up at 7. You will kind of like get yourself ready to go and do that. And we'll jump over to Susie. Susie, you get woken up with a sort of like shake of the shoulder.
Yeah?
It's your mum.
What?
You were with that Anthony kid, right?
Yeah? Is he all right?
And as you sit up in your bed, you can see sort of like a blonde-haired girl behind your mum. And as your eyes kind of go into focus, you can see she's wearing a police uniform. And your mum says, he didn't go home last night, and the police want to know where he is.
Well, I think Susie will immediately just say, Sven? And sigh.
And I think that seems a good place to leave it for this episode.
Woo.
Thank you very much for listening. And that's it for episode 4.